AsraNews.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Start of the academic year is now in jeopardy as members of the Teachers and Educational Workers Union TEU lay down their tools.
Effective today, the 19th day of September 2025, the TEU of the EUC hereby declares a nationwide strike with immediate effect.
And we'll bring you the latest on that. Also coming up, NDC National Chairman Johnson Asiedun Katia defies critics and proceeds on thank you tour beginning in the Eastern region.
A year 2024 campaign.
We'll tell you more about why people are worried and why Mr. Asiedun Katia has decided to go ahead irrespective. And much later on the program, as the fight against Galamsey intensifies in the Western region, different tactics being used by perpetrators are emerging, including seeking spiritual help.
So this is where they consult the gods before they operate. Yes, that's the Mamota shrine. Yes, so when they do this, it means they'll get more gold and they'll destroy the water. And in fact, we will not forgive them. We will destroy everything. Wherever that gods is, we are ready to meet the gods.
Ready to meet the gods, they say. Stay with us. And let's start from here. The the chairman of the governing National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedun Katia, says his ongoing thank you tour in the Eastern region is aimed at reconnecting with the grassroots members who played a crucial role in the party's overwhelming victory in the December elections. He says that the collective effort between the party leadership and the grassroots significantly contributed to the NDC securing more parliamentary seats in the 2024 elections. The tour, which is the first of its kind by a party chairman, has sparked mixed reactions among some party members and the general public.
NDC headquarters or your trouble people. There are no branches, you know, and what they are to Sahara. And when this what is a moment, Maya, let's say, as I say, you are a momba. Near this a moment, and the bravo. If you say a moment, you might and a sound could be a buy. And here, party branch for constituency for. Zone 4 and the region 4. The party a year 2024 campaign.
And you have the national chairman of the governing National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedun Katia, in Chi and in summary, saying that people are praising them as leaders at the party's headquarters, but they know that it was the grassroots members who did the work and that they helped. And so he is there to bring the thank you or the thanks to them. And in the name of the party, they express their gratitude for all the campaigns and everything they did to ensure that the party secured victory on all fronts. Let's bring in Professor Smart Sapon. He's an associate professor and a senior research fellow at the Kumasi Technical University's Institute of Research, Innovation and Development. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, good afternoon.
Sir, if you can tell us how you interpret the timing and motivation behind the NDC's chairman's thank you tour, especially in the face of ongoing criticism.
Well, so people are talking because perhaps it's the first of its kind that the chairman of a party would lead a thank you tour. I also gather from some important persons in NDC that it was an internal arrangement that the president would take some part of the country, the vice president would take some part of the country, and the chairman will also take some part of the country. So I'm observing closely. If it is limited to Eastern region or the areas assigned to the chairman to lead the thank you tour, then perhaps what others are thinking is a strategy to steal a start. Perhaps it's not the case. So we can wait and see. The fact that it's the first time the chairman is leading the thank you tour doesn't mean it cannot happen. And and it's also about the timing and the person's intention to also contest when the opportunity comes. That is what I think is bringing about the conversation. When you hear the public address that he gives to them, it doesn't suggest stealing a start. But nobody knows what happens also after the public meeting with the people. Usually when they get to the constituencies, they try to do the public one and then the private one that they meet them in caucus to talk to them. So it's a mixed feeling, but for now, I think we will see if he extends it beyond the Eastern region, then perhaps you can read extra meanings to it.
So you don't think that there's anything wrong with it? Perhaps people are expressing or having mixed reactions because it's the first time it's happening?
Oh, there must always be a first time. There was a time that very few people vote in the flag bearership election for the NDC. They tried expanding for all card-bearing members. At that time, that was the very first time. Now, then, this MPP is doing a top-down approach. It appears to be the first time, and so people are expressing mixed feelings about it. But we must always record the first time and then learn lessons from it. So if it is truly an assignment given him as a party chairman to lead some part, as the president also leads some part, we will see as the tour unfolds. If he limits himself to maybe Eastern region and maybe some few regions, then that would interpret to mean the assignment he was given. But if it's beginning to be a nationwide 276 constituency tour, then it is first a record never happened before, and then secondly, it perhaps may fuel the perception that he is trying to steal a start.
Indeed, and like you rightly said, people say that, or there are rumors that indeed he's one of those considering to lead the NDC in the 2028 general election. Yes, it's early days yet, like you're just saying. Would you think that perhaps it's a smart way of, yes, going on a party assignment, but also establishing his foot in the constituencies?
Yes, the Chairman General is a smart man, as we all know, politically very, very, very smart. And if he really keeps that dream, he has never discounted and will intend contest when the opportunity comes, then even if it was an assignment, he will still find an opportunity to plant some seeds along with the assignment he has been given. So however you look at it, it will never be the case that somebody with such an ambitious dream will visit the constituency and just conduct the assignment and leave. There will definitely be some traces of seeds planted for which he will follow up and water and nurture when the real time comes. He's a very smart. Nobody can downplay or underestimate his level of intellect when it comes to Ghanaian politics. And so people are justified for thinking that way. If I was Chairman General Sept Ketia, and I have that dream, whatever assignment I'm giving, I will definitely leave some traces or plant some seeds in connection with my dream. And so it is an opportunity he's taking advantage of. I'm sure some of these ministers who also have that dream, whenever they go to any region or district for a ministerial assignment, they take advantage of that assignment to also plant some seeds. They will later go and nurture.
How do you expect, and that's my final question to you, how do you expect the NDC to handle this internally so it doesn't degenerate into disorderliness?
Oh, for now, they shouldn't. No NDC member should think that the man is stealing a start. If he is stealing a start based on a genuine assignment, take advantage of all the genuine assignments that you also get to also try and talk to the delegates. Eventually, it will come down to the delegates. And I always say that the delegates are always wise. irrespective of what time you start, if you really have a message and you communicate it well to the delegates, trust that irrespective of whoever you are, the delegates will take the best of decisions. So some of these things will come just to disrupt the peace or the stability of a political party. But all interested future aspirants should keep calm. The party itself should keep calm. Take advantage of whatever assignments you have to also plant some seeds, and trust that when the window is open, your message and your relationship with the delegates is what is going to do the deal, and not how early somebody entered the race. There is another in Akan that says, "Udikai wa kota." The fact that you are the first to petition the court doesn't mean your case is always right. So they should keep calm. Sincerely, they should keep calm. It's not at the stage where people will be alarmed.
Thank you very much, Professor Smart Sapon, for speaking to us.
Thank you.
And he had Professor Smart Sapon. He's an associate professor and a senior research fellow at the Kumasi Technical University's Institute of Research, Innovation and Development. Now, the start of the academic year is in jeopardy as members of the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, TEU, lay down their tools. More than 50,000 TEU members who handle critical administrative duties and process staff salaries have been directed to stay away from work. At the heart of the strike is a call for the government and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to urgently finalize and sign off on their conditions of service. King James Azotiba is the General Secretary of TEU.
Effective today, the 19th day of September 2025, the TEU of TUC hereby declares a nationwide strike with immediate effect. All non-teaching staff of the Ghana Education Service, the public universities, the technical universities, and staff of the Ghana Library Authority, staff of the museums and monuments boards, they are all online with us nationwide. A lot of the team members are not here because they are all on the monitoring side. After this declaration, across the country, we have directed all to stay away from work until further notice.
And he had that King James Azotiba. He's the General Secretary of TEU. Let's speak to our Labour Affairs correspondent, Daniel Opoku. He joins us live on the phone. Daniel, I know you're yet to visit TEU facilities, but just help us understand when the strike will fully be felt.
Your voice is a bit inaudible. Can you speak up?
Hello, Daniel. Is it better?
I can hear you now.
Excellent. I was saying that I know you're yet to visit any facility of TEU, but if you can help us understand when the strike will be fully felt.
Right. So basically, the leadership has declared a nationwide strike beginning today. That's what you are saying. But essentially, when you declare nationwide strike,
Daniel, I'm sorry to interrupt. If you could move away just a little bit from the noise so we can hear you clearly.
Right. This is better now.
It's better. Thank you. Go ahead.
Right. So I'm saying that when you declare a nationwide strike, it takes time before it gathers momentum. So what the leadership has done, asking their members to stay off work beginning today. But the intensity of the nationwide shall be felt from next week. And the issues that raising are issues that have been linking up for quite some time now. They are talking about the need to sign their conditions of service and also conclude agreements on promotions for various members and some allowances which are either to be paid to their members nationwide. And unfortunately, that has really delayed. And they cited instances where their colleagues, members within the public space, for instance, those within NAGAT and the PRITA.
I'm sorry, we lost Daniel Opoku on the line. We'll try and restore contact to him and conclude our conversation. Whilst we try to raise Daniel Opoku back on the line. Okay, Daniel is back on the line. Hello, Daniel. You were making a point earlier when your line dropped.
I was saying that when we declare a nationwide strike, it takes time to gather momentum. Even though the national legislature declared a nationwide strike, the members of still are yet to be able to come to terms with the strike. But once they have declared, it means that from next week, it is going to intensify for all of them to begin that nationwide strike. And the issues that they are raising have to do with the need for government to conclude the conditions of service, and also issues about promotion and allowances which are yet to be paid their members nationwide. They started those within the education sector, for instance, the teachers have gotten the allowances paid, and also those within the public university, for instance, USAS, they've also gotten their allowances paid. Their conditions of service have been concluded and also signed. So that's what they were asking government. But government is here to respond, and once government is here to respond, that means that the strike may have to continue. But in case government is able to respond by close of day today, then obviously still members may have to call off the strike. But the cases that we have picked from the National Labour Commission, they are putting their statement together, and very soon they are going to serve the leadership of TU for them to call off the strike.
Thank you very much, Daniel Opoku. He's our Labour Affairs correspondent. Now, governance experts are calling on election observers to help African countries to overcome challenges in elections and its related violence. The call comes on the back of increasing incidences of electoral irregularities recorded during elections and against electoral institutions. Former chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Ghana, Charlotte Osei, says her appointment as chair of the commission in 2015 was met with a lot of criticisms and attack on her father's house by a mob supposedly belonging to a political party. Charlotte Osei was chair of the election management body from 2015 until she was dismissed in June 2018 on grounds of financial malfeasance. She passed a comment at the 2025 Democracy Dialogue in Accra.
Copy, paste, ask a basic question, move on.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to His Excellency President Jonathan. It's a privilege to be here, and it's amazing that you're doing this because, like Baba said, I believe democracy dies. Democracy dies in darkness. Democracy dies when there's silence. So the fact that we have an annual dialogue to talk about democracy is one of the key things that would help to keep democracy alive. And it's also an honor to share a stage with an icon like Baba, who is outstanding on the continent. Yes, I was appointed to the Electoral Commission, first female. So that came with its own challenges. I think there were two major challenges, maybe three. Being female, I was told directly by several people that it was not a job for a female. Even my own father expressed the same fear. It was like, this is not a job for a woman. A lot of people thought I was too young, especially because I was coming after a legendary figure, Dr. Farijan, who had been there for more than 20 years. So the ageism, the sexism created their own problems. But there were also the normal...
How old were you then?
I was appointed in 2015. I was 46. 46. There are the usual troubles that come with chairing an electoral commission. I don't think those ones were unexpected. It's a job that everyone who's held it, I speak to my colleagues, especially across the African continent and the Commonwealth, and everybody has very similar challenges. There's misinformation, there's lies, there's attacks on everything you do. That kind of comes with the territory, so it's almost to be expected. But I think when you're a woman, it can take a different dimension. In terms of personal costs, I wouldn't say the phone calls and the pressure were the issues. Most people know I'm quite stubborn. So the kind of calls you think I received, I probably did not even receive because they knew I would not be amenable.
And Heather Charlotte Osei, former chair of the Electoral Commission. Speaking on Ghana Tonight on TV3, governance expert Professor Jan Barfour described those incidences as worrying and asked for assistance to overcome them.
Even a country like United States, that used to be the model for most of us, today is under more serious threat than even democracies in African countries. The reason why perhaps we are all concerned is that, at least from my perspective, we started on the wrong footing. We embraced democracy without question. Our forefathers who fought for our independence and embraced democratic practice immediately did not examine the whole system in terms of this practice to determine what needs to be changed, modified, and what needs to be adapted or adopted, and so on and so forth. We just took it and embraced it. If I look at the challenges of democracy today, I'm quick to say, look, perhaps we missed certain fundamental issues here.
And you had the governance expert, Professor Bafo Ajimanjia. The Kolebu Teaching Hospital has sounded the alarm on recent records on non-communicable diseases. In the first quarter of 2025 alone, the unit recorded over 5,000 diabetic cases and 2,000 complicated kidney cases. Before we engage health experts on this worrying trend, let's bring you the numbers as presented by the Kolebu Teaching Hospital following a recent visit by the Mahama Cares Secretariat. In terms of cardiovascular diseases, in 2021, they had about 1,647 cases. That rose to 1,726 in 2022. The next year after 2022, in 2023, it rose again to 1,824. Last year, 2024, it jumped from 1,800 plus to 2,441. And then this year, just in the first quarter alone, the Kolebu Teaching Hospital has recorded 2,888 cardiovascular diseases. In cancers, the teaching hospital had about 2,017 in 2021, jumped to 2,197 in 2022, 2,296 in 2023, again reduced from 2,296 to 2,628, and then reduced further in 2025. Within the first quarter, that's 1,252. In terms of, I'll read to you, diabetes and kidney diseases. In terms of diabetes, in 2021, the teaching hospital recorded about 7,921 cases. That rose to 9,697 in 2022 and dropped in 2023, giving us the figures of 9,399, and rose just a little up again in 2024 to 9,486 and dropped again in the first quarter of this year from 9,486 to 5,225. In terms of kidney diseases, they had about 2,661 in 2021. That rose up to 2,926 in 2022, dropped in 2023, dropped again, actually increased slightly in 2024, and then dropped in 2025, the first quarter, 2,328, as we're showing you if you're joining us on Facebook. Let's speak to Dr. Philip Dodo, a public health expert, on these alarming numbers. Doc, if you can hear us, good afternoon to you. Hello, Doc, can you hear us? Hello?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Is it Dr. Philip Dodo? Can you hear us?
This is Labran on the line.
Okay, so Dr. Dodo, can you hear me? Okay, it looks like we have a challenge with the line to Dr. Dodo. speak rather to Labram Musa, who is the national coordinator of the Ghana NCD, that's Non-Communicable Disease Alliance. He joins us on the phone. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me, and greetings to your listeners.
We know that you've been on advocacy for this, for such a long time. Just talk to us about the level of engagement with stakeholders now that Akolibu is revealing the statistics to us.
Yeah, please, can you repeat the question, please?
I was asking you to tell us the level of engagement with stakeholders, because now Akolibu is giving us the numbers, painting a real disturbing picture for us.
Yes, so thank you once again. Indeed, let me say that these revelations are not surprising to some of us because of the systemic failures over the years, and how we have managed to to prioritize matters of non-communicable diseases in the country. The fact that there's low investment and inadequate, financial, consideration for NCDs in the country. So we are not surprised at all. But in terms of engagement, let me say that yes, there has been, we've seen some level of commitment, especially from the Ministry of Health. But commitment and without backing it with financial or investment, it becomes like you've done nothing, and because we know that non-communicable diseases, it has been, and the fact that it is a disease of the rich and the poor, now it has come, to stay with us. Everybody, every household is suffering from non-communicable diseases, and of course, because it is very expensive to cure, you would definitely will continue to have a rise in these diseases, because many people report at the hospital with late stages of the disease, and because when they come to the hospital it's expensive, they will resort to other means of curing their diseases instead of coming to the hospital. And sometimes they may come anyway, but when they come to the hospital for NCD cases like hypertension, chronic cancers, diabetes and stuff, they are unable to pay for the cost of treatment. So they would rather go home and then go for other complications, then return back to the hospital with issues of complication. And at that time, probably it might be late, for them to be saved.
Are you able to tell us,
if they can be saved?
Forgive me, we're running out of time, sir. Are you able to tell us what further interventions we need beyond the Mahama case?
Right. So yes. So I was happy to hear that. Doctor went on a visit to Akolibu. That is fine. But look, the Mahama care has an objective. It is to treat. To generate resources. To support chronic, late stages, or let's say palliative care people who are at that stages. But here, looking at how do we stop the thing from happening in the first place? It's all about awareness creation. Creating more awareness, let's go understand, what will bring about the disease. And then also, practically, we know what the causes of non-communicable disease are. They are unhealthy diet, physical inactivity, tobacco use, alcohol use, and these are the things that, are all over the place.
We'll have to end it here. Thank you very much, Mr. Labram Musa. He is the national coordinator of the non-communicable diseases group. Now, as the fight against galamsey intensifies in the Western region, different tactics being used by perpetrators are emerging. They seem to be following some spiritual path. Irama Smith brought us this report from the Western region.
The average African is very religious, attaching religious significance to every aspect of life. In this regard, almost every step in life is done with prayer, be it a Christian, Muslim, or traditionalist. It is therefore not surprising that during an operation on the Ankobra River by personnel from the Western Regional National Security and the Western Naval Command, this shrine dedicated to a river goddess, Togbe Nana Benin, was discovered.
And we're out of time. We'll bring you the full report on Hot Edition at 5 p.m. You do make a date. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us today on the Midday News. Log on to truenews.com for more. Coming up shortly is Business Daily. Bismarck Awusai standing by.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. Coming up this afternoon, government's resilience on short-term treasury bills deepens as recent auction fails to meet targets, raising concerns over fiscal pressures and investor appetite. And later in the bulletin, Mobile Money Agents Association warns rising attacks on operators pose threat to their full participation in government's 24-hour economy, calls for targeted security measures.
We have all seen what happened in Ashanti region. People lost their lives. Greater Accra, Upper East, Upper West. Over 200 robberies as we speak.
I am Bismarck Awusai. These stories and others lined up for you. Please stay. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. Government is seeking to raise 3.01 billion cedis across 91, 182 and 364-day tenors today. This comes as it continues to rely on the short-term debt market to address its refinancing and liquidity needs. There is more in the following 3 Business News Desk report.
The auction today follows a recent setback in government's fundraising efforts. On September 12, the Treasury bill auction fell short of its target, securing only 6.248 billion cedis against a target of 8.28 billion cedis. This signaled a renewed challenge in attracting sufficient short-term financing from investors, despite a recent improvement in investor appetite. Government seeking to raise 3.01 billion cedis on the Treasury bill market today. Analysts have pointed out the government's continued heavy dependence on the T-bill market highlights ongoing fiscal constraints and a need for sustainable long-term financing strategies. Treasury bills are short-term debt instruments issued by the government to raise money. They are considered a safe investment because they are backed by the full faith and credit of the government.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on government seeking to raise 3.01 billion cedis in Treasury bill auction today. Moving on, the Mobile Money Agents Association of Ghana says targeted security measures are essential if its members are to fully participate in the government's flagship 24-hour economy initiative. The association warns that fatal attacks on mobile money operators continue to rise and insists that the threat must be addressed head-on to secure their full commitment.
More than 5 deaths have been recorded this year alone in connection with attacks on mobile money vendors across the country. But the association says the true scale of the problem may even be greater.
I was just getting a briefing from the Obuasi district chairman, and he explains that just he himself alone, just this year, he has suffered 3 robberies, and within the Obuasi alone, robbery attack on mobile money agents span over 20. Now, nationally, from the start of the year, we have all seen what happened in Ashanti region. People lost their lives. Greater Accra, Upper East, Upper West. Over 200 robberies as we speak.
The government says the policy aims to create an enabling environment that boosts productivity, enhances competitiveness, and delivers well-paying jobs. But for mobile money agents, safety remains a non-negotiable prerequisite.
It will take much for mobile money agents to also be included in the 24-hour initiative, unless, of course, we are going to say that, yes, government is providing targeted security for our businesses. Other than that, for the 24-hour economy, we will have to take lessons from how we suffer from robbery and attacks during the daytime.
These concerns were raised at the association's National Leadership and Strategy Summit held in Accra. Meanwhile, speaking at the same event, President of the Ghana FinTech Association, Martin Awaga, called for increased infrastructure investment to expand mobile money services to underserved communities.
Now, many agents work in areas where poor network connectivity, which is an infrastructure problem, frequent power cuts, another infrastructure problem, or rising insecurity or security risks.
And those are concerns of some Mobile Money Agents Association of Ghana. Meanwhile, mobile money transactions in Ghana amounted to 354.1 billion cedis in August 2025, according to the latest summary of economic and financial data released by the Bank of Ghana. The figure represents a slight dip from 355.4 billion cedis in July, but underscores the continued dominance of mobile payments in the country's financial ecosystem. The number of transactions climbed to 831 million cedis in August, up from 778 million in July, reflecting the steady rise in the use of digital payment channels. Registered mobile money accounts also grew to 77.7 million, with 25.1 million active accounts, highlighting progress in financial inclusion across Ghana. Now, the Waste Pickers Association of Ghana is calling for a standardized pricing structure for plastic waste to ensure fair valuation and protect the livelihoods of its members. With over 100,000 representatives nationwide, the association says waste pickers are essential service providers and must be compensated accordingly.
Beyond helping to manage Ghana's growing waste challenges, the group says it plays a critical role in tackling unemployment, particularly among women. Speaking to Through Business at the Africa Regional Meeting of Waste Pickers, organized by the Kpone Waste Pickers Association, leaders urge government intervention to safeguard their interest.
Waste pickers do not determine the price of the material they sell, but rather the manufacturers come in and bring their own price. We were not able to negotiate anything with them, so they determine which price they'll buy from waste pickers, and sometimes it's very disturbing.
The group also called on authorities to include waste pickers in discussions with manufacturers, arguing that they handle the bulk of post-production waste.
I think we can solve this problem, one, if the policymakers include the waste pickers in decision making, because we need more inclusion. And as I said earlier, when you look at the circular economy, waste pickers are playing a vital role in the circular economy.
Meanwhile, the International Alliance of Waste Pickers is urging government to adopt holistic policies that protect jobs, especially as landfill sites are being shut down.
We are advocating for any alternative like the MRFs, which are material recovery facilities in every municipalities, to make sure that when waste pickers get out of the landfill, they are not misplaced, but they do continue feeding their families, putting the bread on their tables.
Before we go, starting October 15, 2025, passengers in Accra bound for Paris will have a new travel alternative as Air Côte d'Ivoire introduces a daily service linking Ghana to France through its Abidjan hub. The West African airline will operate non-stop flights from Abidjan to Paris Charles de Gaulle, timed to connect with its Accra departures at 10:45 a.m. and arrival in Abidjan at 12 noon. And that brings us to the end of Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Ausa. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. Thanks for